Hello, merged tribe of
Hi.
Zoom Survivor Season 8 Blood versus Water. Congratulations, everybody, making the merge. Julian, your team didn't go to Tribal Council much during the pre merge. Are you nervous to have to go back to Tribal Council every time now?
Yeah, we've been on easy street. I feel like now the game is really like starting in earnest. Hasn't really felt like a real Survivor without the tribal council. I feel like more has happened between last session and this session than all the other sessions combined. I have been working with Parker mainly today, like a few hours before recording. Parker FaceTimed me in a rush and told me that Creedy is possibly gunning for all the solo sanguinis, which I've been really worried about because I've been trying to play up my lack of a partner to my advantage and make it seem like, oh, I need an ally, looking for someone, anyone on the other side.
I can't shy away from being the leader of things. It just happens that way. We're trying to go for a Creativo. I think we've got the numbers. I'm also sick right now, but I put on makeup and a cute little shirt and I showered so that I would be like dressing for success, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. I want to be a survivor boss bitch.
Parker's cooked up this elaborate plan of getting Creethy out, and I'm on board, especially because the plan is for me to basically not be involved at all, which is great.
I feel so solid with who I'm with. Like I've got my duos alliance with me, Rebecca, Parker, Alex, and then Richie and Tim. And then I have like a smaller 4-person alliance with Richie and Tim and Rebecca. And there's lots of layers there because then we also still have the Barb alliance with Meg, and like I really believe in keeping Meg in the fold.
Megan, if I'm not mistaken, your team was talking unanimously about how surprised you were that you didn't merge the challenge before and how it kind of threw everything off. Do you feel like you've gained your bearings again?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely were expecting a merge last time, but I don't know. I'm just excited that it has happened. It's still like new territory, so we'll see like what happens, but I don't think it like really threw much off. I learned a lot of information today. I thought that like I definitely had like Richie and Krithi on my side. Turns out Richie, Krithi, and Alex all had an alliance together without me. Until today, where Richie came to me and he was like, I have so much I need to tell you. I have so much I need to get off of my chest.
So here is the thing. There was like a duos alliance. I'll be open about that. It was with all the duos, all 6 of us.
Yeah, I figured.
But it's everything is fractured. Nobody's like working together. And this is also wild. Krithi has an idol. I don't know if she's told you about that. Has she?
No,
Okay.
she has not.
She found it at the very beginning. So she has an idol, and the plan is to get her to play it tonight.
On my vigilante shit again. Taylor Swift quote. Sorry, that was cringe, but it's true. Tim told me that Parker is rallying votes to get Krithi out, and then Tim and I agreed that we can't let that happen. But also, in not letting that happen, we can get Krithi to flush her idol, which is great.
All of Krithi's votes will be nullified. And 3 votes will be going towards Parker, 2 votes will be going towards Rachel, 1 vote will be going towards Sky. I'm just ready to mix things up. Parker's like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. We're gonna be, backstabbing. And I'm like, yeah, we are. I really like Parker. Parker is just, by and large, the biggest threat. Super charismatic, talking to everybody, willing to like go out there and make moves. And hopefully all the ducks stay in a line. We were very meticulous and careful to make sure that this plan can work out. So hopefully Parker nor Krithi wins immunity and we can execute this wild blindside.
We're going to get started with our very first challenge, our very first post-merge challenge. These challenges are competed for individual immunity. If you win, you will be immune from being voted off at the following tribal council. So for our first challenge, we're going to do a Survivor TV show trivia. I got 10 questions that I made up. They're going to be multiple choice, A, B, C, D. I'm going to read out the question. You're going to respond. Whoever gets the most points at the end will win immunity. If we have a tie, I have a tiebreaker. As I am reading a question, I need everybody's hands visible on screen so that I know you're not Googling. All right, here we go. Number 1. Where did the very first season of Real Survivor take place? A. Borneo. B. Fiji. C. New Zealand. D. Thailand. Rebecca, you were the only person to not say Borneo. Do you think you're the only one right, or do you think you're the only one wrong?
Oh, I'm certain I'm the only one wrong.
That is correct. Everybody who said Borneo is correct. Nice job. So that's a point for everybody but Rebecca. Moving on. How many Survivor winners have played a perfect game? That means no votes cast against them during the game, and then all the jury votes went to them in the end. There's a technicality here. One player has this record while getting votes cast against them, but they had an immunity idol. I'm not talking about that person. No votes at all cast against, negated or not. How many Survivor winners have played a perfect game? Is it A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D, or 4? 1, 2, 3, or 4. A, B, C, or D. You may put in your answers now. Great. Sky, you were the only person to not say B. Do you think you're the only one right or the only one wrong?
Nah, I'm gonna get chopped.
Yeah, you're gonna get chopped. No point. No point for Sky, a point for everybody else. The answer is 2. 3. This player was the first person to be voted out with 2 idols in their pocket. Is it A, Lucy, B, Roland, C, Angelina, or D, James? Megan gets a point. Tim gets a point. Krithi gets a point. Rachel gets a point. Julian gets a point. Alex gets a point. Richie gets a point. Sky gets a point. The answer was D, James. Number 4. What season is Survivor airing right now? Is it A, 40, B, 41, C, 42, or D, 43? Everybody but Parker got that one right. The answer is D, 43. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Sorry, Parker. Let's keep going with number 5. This player, this is a great question. This is a fantastic question. Just want to say that. This player threw up from exhaustion after one of the first challenges in their season, and then went on to win 4 individual immunities, almost winning the whole season if it weren't for some serious BS, but we'll talk about that another time. I'll read that question again. This player threw up from exhaustion after one of the first challenges of their season, and then went on to win 4 individual immunities, almost winning the whole season if it weren't for some serious BS, but we'll talk about that another time. Is it A, Aubrey, B, Mike, C, Chrissy, or D, Tommy? Alex gets a point. Tim gets a point. Sky gets a point. Megan gets a point. Richie gets a point. Rebecca gets a point. And that is it. The answer is Chrissy. C. My favorite players ever. Because I have bad taste. Number 6. Number 6. In Survivor Edge of Extinction, Wendy pretty much sunk her game when she A, went searching for an idol and got lost for a full day. B, released the chickens that they won on a reward into the jungle. C, dumped the tribe's rice into the fire. Or D, placed a wild tarantula on Eric. Tim gets a point. Sky gets a point. Sky, I thought you didn't watch the show. That's so funny.
I've never seen an episode.
It's gotten every question right. Rachel gets a point. Krithi gets a point. Richie gets a point. Rebecca gets a point. The answer was releasing the chickens. B. Did I miss somebody? Megan, did I miss you?
Yes.
Thank
Please
you.
give me my point.
I think you missed me as
Thank you,
well.
Julian. I did indeed. Right now, we have a tie between Tim, Richie, and Megan at 6 points. Number 7. When Survivor Winners at War had their live finale, they had to televise it over Zoom due to COVID. Where did Jeff film the reading of the winning votes? A. Alone at his private beach. B. Alone in his garage. C. Alone in a rented-out theater. Or D. Alone, still on the island in Fiji. Oh, right. Tim gets a point. Krithi gets a point. Rachel gets a point. Alex gets a point. Julian gets a point. Richie gets a point. Megan gets a point. And Sky, your streak has come to an end. No point there. That's all. The answer was in his garage, B. Number 8. In Survivor, Co-Wrong, Ty befriended this animal and would even bring it with him to tribal councils. Is it A, an inchworm, B, a baby monkey, C, a chicken, or D, an ocelot? Okay, all right. Tim gets a point. Megan gets a point. Julian gets a point. Krithy gets a point. Richie gets a point. And Rachel gets a point. The answer was C, chicken. Named him Mark. Mark the chicken. All right, and we still have that tight race between Tim, Richie, and Megan, neck and neck. Right behind, we have Julian and Rachel at 1 point right behind. Let's move on to number 9. The runner-up of Survivor wins A, $100,000, B, $50,000, C, $10,000, or D, nothing at all. Oof. Megan gets a point. Krithy gets a point. Rachel gets a point. Rebecca gets a point. Richie and Tim got that wrong, which puts Megan in the lead at 9 points. The answer was A, $100,000. All right, Megan, if you get this one right, you win immunity automatically. All right. Number 10. Who is the youngest winner of Survivor winning the game at the age of 21? Is it A, Sophie, B, Fabio, C, Jenna, or D, Parvati? And just like that, Megan, you have won yourself immunity. The answer was B, Fabio. How do you feel? First immunity.
It feels really good. I literally thought I had that last one wrong. So
nice.
Glad I didn't.
Nice. Very cool.
Wow. So I just want individual immunity, thank God. I also kind of love that Richie and Tim were like right behind me in the challenge because I am working with them now. So it feels very, very poetic.
Okay, I'm actually so thrilled that Meg won individual immunity. I feel like the fact that a Barb won makes me feel really good. People have already been kind of trying to reduce those numbers, namely Rachel, which is a shame because I really wanted to work with Rachel, who seemed to be Rebecca, my partner's one of her closest allies on her team. And I really, even though we have a duos alliance, I wanted Rachel and Meg, frankly, to really come through with us. But Rachel has revealed her hand very early and has just straight up told Meg that she wants to get rid of us, specifically Richie, which is not going to happen.
I'm nervous because it sounds like the other tribe, and I still say tribes, were merged, but the Malibu Barbies, who once were, are targeting me. And honestly, I'm just feeling a little crushed right now because it really sounds like Rebecca has turned on me, which is an awful feeling because I legitimately meant it when I said that I wanted to go to the end with Rebecca.
Rachel basically sniffed out the duos alliance. I tried to make the duos alliance. Nobody trusted each other. I had such a good name for it. It was called the GSA. And then like a day later, it falls apart. I think my only alliance right now is with Tim and Megan. That's my only alliance. And if we pull off this vote, then that will be awesome.
I always scream at the screen when people say this in Survivor, but I am feeling as safe as is reasonable. That didn't make any sense. I am excited to see where this session takes us, and I hope no one I care about goes home.
Yeah, I'm super nervous, and it's really interesting to be on this side of the merge. And yeah, my heart is pounding. My heart's in my throat. Rebecca, man, I'm just sad. I am sad. That was definitely the biggest betrayal. And I guess we'll see.
I think we're good on the Kriti vote. Hope she hasn't gotten wind of it. I know she has an idol, according to Alex, so.
The last step is just to get Meg to tell Krithy to play her idol. And if Krithy is resistant, then I will unmute myself during the Zoom call and say, Krithy, you need to play your idol in front of everyone.
I think people are gonna be so surprised at what happens.
I'm definitely shivering, shaking, because this is so crazy.
All right, let's start coming back to tribal council. Megan, I knew you enjoyed Survivor. I didn't know you were such a buff. That was very cool to watch. Are you a little bit afraid that you were outed as like a super fan, super genius strategizer extraordinaire because you know these things about Survivor?
I think it more so like outs me as someone that just knows a bunch of information that is not necessarily useful. Like it's not practical. I just like remember things. I watch like Survivor YouTube videos. So I don't know. I like maybe I am a threat now, but really I just know random information.
Sure, sure. Rachel, what's your take? Do you think that knowing a lot about the show helps you? What is it about this game that you could come in fresh as a baby and you could still win the thing?
I think the reason I'm here and a reason I think some other participants are here is because we like the game and we want to bring the kind of good show quality to it, and have fun, but we also just really like getting to know people and getting to relate to people, and that's kind of what the core of Survivor is relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of the relationships in the game, we have the twist of the blood versus water twist. Richie, you are somebody who still has their blood partner still in the game, your brother Tim. How important is that relationship?
It isn't, it isn't, because obviously we are brothers. We have been with each other our whole lives, but at the same time, we will be with each other for our whole lives. So if one of us votes each other out, then they'll have to get over it because we're stuck with each other.
For sure, for sure. Julian, we were talking a little bit before the challenge started about what your pre-merge experience was like not going to tribal council. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that came from Team Sanguini still in the game, as opposed to 4 from Malibu Barbies. Would it be fair to say that the target for this tribal is one of the Malibu Barbies?
I wouldn't say that in tribal. I think I think obviously it's an everyone for themselves game right now. I think, this is the part where, you can't necessarily just be tied to the tribe you were assigned to at the beginning or assigned to, a relative from birth. I think at this point it's about who you can trust, who you can work with. And for everyone who's a fan of the game, it's boring when it's just one big group running things the whole time. So I think we're all trying to spice up the game as much as we can. So
Sure.
I hope everyone is making the right vote for them and not necessarily for the people they're assigned to.
Got you. Parker, does that worry you at all that Julian says he's interested in spicing up the game, aka voting out one of Team Sanguini?
I think that that's a fun attitude to have in the game. It's not necessarily one I've always had about the game. And now that we're in the merge, it's like, okay, be here for the fun, for the friends, for the drama.
Rebecca, are you on the same page? You're having fun with this at this point, or is it if you were to get voted out, you would feel like, there was still like so much more to do?
Well, I think that it's both. I feel like I am having fun with it, but I would be very disappointed if I was voted out. There's so much left of the game. And I feel like the game like really changes as there gets to be less and less people. So I mean, I wouldn't like take it personally, but I would be pretty disappointed if I didn't make it further because I just am so excited to see how like things like play out and how dynamics shift as like it gets to be a smaller and smaller group.
Got you. Krithi, do you think now would be a fair time, even though it's early on in the merge, to be bitter if you're voted out?
I think like anyone has the right to be bitter, just because it is like it feels personal because you get to know these people. But I think the way you express that is kind of like up for grabs. Like you can recognize it's a game and still feel bad about it, but also not necessarily blame the other people, and more be like, they had to do what they had to do, but I'm still hurt and I still feel bad and I still need time to think about it. And I think everyone processes that differently, no matter what place in the game they are. So I think it really depends person to person and like the circumstances of getting voted out.
For sure. Alex, this game really is such a person-to-person, chaotic, whatever. It's one of the things that makes this game so difficult. Do you feel like, in terms of the vote tonight, that there is an organization happening, or do you think it is very chaotic?
I mean, it's so hard to know because I think things shift like minute by minute. And so you feel so organized, and then like someone says something and you're like, wait, what's going on? And then like I don't know. I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like
Sure.
every time you ask me a question, I immediately forget the question.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Because Tim, does that mean that there is absolutely no way to feel like you have a grapple on the narrative, or like does it always feel like you don't know what's going to happen until afterwards?
So there's definitely times where I'm like, all right, I know where people stand. I think I have a good idea of where things are going. But then all it takes is like one message, like 2 minutes before the vote, and everything
Right.
gets mixed up and everything gets dicey. And so while yes, there can be, shades of feeling like, ooh, I kind of have a feel for what's going on. All it takes is, one person winning immunity or an idol being played or a name being dropped for that all to come crumbling down.
And Sky, you not having a partner, we spoke to Richie earlier on, and he seemed to say that, listen, you got a partner, you don't have a partner, it's all good. We're just playing a game here. How do you feel about this, not having a partner?
Like, not having a partner lets me be the chaotic Gemini that I truly am deep down in my heart, without feeling bad about stabbing anybody in the back, because we are a big group now. What's going to happen is going to happen. I feel like I've made really good relationships with everybody, but like I feel like it's less of a target to be without a partner at this point.
Sure. In other words, your perception is people who have partners are seen as stronger people to be taken out. Interesting. A question for the group. Any advantage talk whatsoever that anybody wants to talk about? If anybody has an advantage besides a hidden immunity idol and they would like to play it, now would be the time to do so. Okay. I will bring you all each one by one into the voting booth. You cannot vote for Megan.
This is probably a really big risk. I hope that it pays off.
I just found out that I'm a potential target. Rebecca's a potential target. Now idols are super fucked, but I'm voting Rachel, and I hope this works.
I'm voting Rebecca.
I'm going to vote Sky.
I am voting out Rachel.
This was not what I was gonna do 5 minutes ago, but I am voting.
Not because I don't like them as a person, but because I can feel like they might be a little bit better at this game than I am.
Everything got switched last minute. Oh, I'm shaking. Okay, I vote Rebecca, and I hope it goes well.
This is working out better than I ever thought it would have if what I'm hearing is right. I'm voting for Parker.
There goes nothing.
The votes are in, and I will read the votes. But if anybody has a hidden immunity idol and they would like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Yeah, Ethan, I'm playing my idol.
Okay. Krithi is playing an idol. All votes cast against Krithi will not count. Anybody else?
I would also like to play my idol.
Okay. Rebecca is playing an idol. All votes cast against Rebecca will not count. Anybody else? Great. I will read the votes. Once the votes are read, the decision is final and the person voted out will be asked to leave the Zoom call immediately. First vote, Rebecca, does not count. Second vote, Rebecca, does not count. Third vote, Rebecca, does not count. Fourth vote, Rebecca, does not count. Fifth vote, Sky. Sixth vote, Parker. 1 vote Sky, 1 vote Parker. Seventh vote, Rachel. 1 vote Sky, 1 vote Parker, 1 vote Rachel. 8th vote, Parker, 2 votes Parker, 1 vote Rachel, 1 vote Sky. Rachel, that is 2 votes Rachel, 2 votes Parker, 1 vote left. The first member of our jury is Parker. Parker, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It was fun. It was a good time for me. And then hearing Tim and Julian both be like, let's be drama, whatever, did give me a good attitude. I'm like, okay, drama was fun. I'm rooting for Alex so hard. I'm stressed for him, how it's going to go from here. But we kept his name out of the Rebecca stuff well. So hopefully he should be safe in that regard and still have people's trust. And I'm the liar. And I'm down to take that on. I think it was probably Kriti, Rebecca, and Meg working against me. And they did a good job. But I'm proud that I flushed 2 idols and Alex will be in a better place because of it. So overall, I'm feeling good. I had fun and I'm excited to hear how they do.